Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of What's Next for Women podcast. So much is going on today on the horizon within the podcast. I have another amazing co host. You guys got to grab your pen and paper. Oh my goodness, we were talking just a moment ago in the green room about so much. So we're going to bring it here so we can talk to you. But grab your pen and paper, your girlfriends. Look, we even already have our drink. Now, I'm ready for it. She has hers too. Sit back there with her drink. So bring your drinks. Let's go and let's get started. First and foremost, want to introduce myself. My name is Pamela Stone, and I am your co-host of What's Next for Women podcast. The podcast where we come in and we empower women to go after their what's next by conquering the what ifs and I can'ts. How many of you sit at some place, maybe at a desk or someplace, and you're like, is this it? Is this all of my life? Am I not going to do anymore? Or so many more questions or so many other questions? That was me. I literally broke down, like looking around saying, okay, is this all there is to my life? Am I making everybody else's pockets bigger on my skill set and my knowledge? But I'm not reaping the rewards. And so I finally had to just go in and I pulled myself together. I started talking to women in the office and around me, and I asked them, what is your what's next? And I got a lot of, I don't know, I haven't thought about it. Then I said, so then the next question I asked, okay, so if I removed all barriers, maybe money, maybe that you need someone to help you to build you up to, or help you find out what's next, what would you do? Literally, probably 10% of those women I even asked still did not know. And so I knew that was my passion and my purpose. My purpose is out here to go and empower women to get them to their what's next. And I do that in several ways, which one way is here on the podcast, as well as you see in the corner here. The other way is the Vision Made magazine. The magazine is a quarterly publication that can help you get you to your what's next through Vision Board. If you're interested in getting a copy of the Vision Made magazine, drop it in the feed below. I will definitely connect with you there. And then lastly, today's Win Wednesday. What's your win? Now, we always talk here, we celebrate the small wins, your weekly wins, because if you accomplish your weekly wins, your weekly goals, then your bigger goals will be achievable and you will more than likely achieve the bigger overall goal. So I would love to hear what your win for the week. So drop it in the feed. Okay. So are you guys ready for my co-host for this week? So my co-host for this week is Candice Duggar. She is the founder of Bullied, Broken, and Redeemed. She's a national recognized anti-bully expert, author, speaker, and trainer, specialized in equipping leaders, parents, and youth on all aspects of Gen Z bullying, right? And so many of you, we even talking about the, children facing it, but hold on, let me finish up. Under the leadership of Candice, the team of Bullied, Broken, and Redeemed has built life-changing programs that use interactive activities, projects to motivate and empower effective anti-bullying warriors. Candice has been featured on several networks nationally and internationally, including NBC, Christian Broadcast Network, Family Research Council, and is a recognized trainer for the Fortune 100 companies. So without further ado, everyone, I am going to bring on my co-host for this week. Hello, Miss Candice.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. It's always so funny to sit back and listen to your bio in another world when you used to be in a corporate world listening to your bio for so many years, 20 years in one world. And I'm like, listen to me, that is me.
Girl, I'm proud of you. Hats off. Kudos to you.
It's still new to get used to, though. Even after all these years, I'm like, wow, man, have things changed from my days in the corporate world.
Oh my goodness. See, everyone, as I bring on women, I want you all to know that, she too was in corporate, but we'll get a little bit into that.
Down the road.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Candice, what else would you like for our audience to know?
Well, let's see. I'm a mom of two. I actually left the corporate world. I used to run multi-million-dollar to billion-dollar sales teams. So I was pretty high up in the financial industry, speaking on regulation reform. Love what I did. But I had a very serious health illness that put me on bed rest, and praise God, I'm still here and things are good. It was kind of one of those things, given 3 to 5 years to live. So it was rough. And
Yeah.
during that time, I found out how rough my son was having it in school. And I actually almost lost him to suicide due to horrific bullying. And it was that moment that really woke me up to my passion, that I had all of this fantastic, I love speaking, I love training, I had a background in psychology, I love what I did, but I didn't have that fire in my belly anymore, right? I love serving people and helping them. And when I'd almost lost my son, it showed me, here I have a 12-year-old child who could not get help and services, and there was no help for parents. It was go to the school, go to the administration, give your power away to somebody else. And I thought, that is never a message that I want myself to have, or my children. I want to raise children to be able to really feel empowered, right? And to know what to do. And it just wasn't with my philosophy. And so I ended up pulling them out in homeschooling. And now in my family of 4, so there's myself, my husband, my 2 kids. We have 4 CEOs, 6 businesses, and launching a foundation. So we over here pop it in the entrepreneur world. We are moving and shaking, but we use that as a part of our children's education, right? So that's a big part of their education. So I think that's kind of me in a nutshell. And I actually read
Oh no, we're all stuck. But
2
you know
businesses.
what?
So I do, like, this is my jam. But
Yeah.
I actually run Reimagine Education Conference too, where I serve families, helping them find the best educational platform for their children if traditional school isn't working. So as you can imagine, during COVID, it's been quite the last couple of years. We've kind of exploded to be international, but we support that corporate working family who just knows that this education system isn't working for my kid. They need something else, right? This isn't working. And so I do private coaching, and I run mentorships for families looking to kind of take on homeschooling or alternative education the first year. So that'll kind of give you a background on me and what keeps us busy over here.
Yeah, I know. I've told everybody. I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't even come say that I'm busy, okay? Because my co-host for this week is super busy,
Yeah,
and
and you and I were talking about
I
that.
know, I
I do,
know.
and guys, my philosophy is I hate the word busy. It just seems so. My hair is busy, busy, busy. My life is full, right?
A new
I
word.
keep
We're
a
not using
full
busy
schedule,
here.
right? I keep a full schedule because it's built with intention, right?
Right.
We can create busy anywhere. I can create busy at the beach, right? I can create busy in my life, but it created with intention. And if I created these things with knowing what I've said yes to, right? Have I intentionally made that choice to say no
Right.
to other things, to fill this life and this schedule and this really just my purpose? Am I filling it in a way that brings me joy? And I can truly say yes. It is. It
That is
is full.
that is
It is
our
full,
word.
but
We're not
it is getting it done.
we are committed on not using busy anymore. We're now using full. So now when I
Full.
ask you guys, all of you, you can't use busy because we all can use busy. We're
I'll be
full.
busy.
And but you're right though, full is being more intentional of what we're doing, paying attention.
Well, isn't that what was so much of what we talk about is the
Yes.
power of our words? I mean, I do bullying for a living, right? So the power of our words, and how
Yes.
does that feel in our mouth and our body? How does the word busy feel? It kind of makes me feel
Bleh.
disheveled,
Yeah.
right? But when I have a
Yes.
full life, when I have something that I've been created with full intent, it's very different in how I feel in my body when we
I
say those
agree. I
words.
have to agree. When you say full, I'm like, okay, I have a feel of sense of purpose. And I'm feeling like the calm. I can
Like
see
craziness.
but
Like I'm just running around with all this stuff going on.
right. But it's still calm versus busy. You see the chaos. I see that cartoon that's going like, oh,
Right? You can see the meme following me behind
right.
myself. Because, I mean, I'm on the road for a living. I mean, y'all, it is. Like, if somebody looked at our life, they'd be like, that's busy. It just doesn't make me feel good to say that. So that's why in my family, I'm like, don't you talk to me about being busy. You can talk to me about having a full schedule. We can talk about what you need to get rid of, but you need to have intention in all you choose
Absolutely.
to say yes to.
I love it. So let's go back a little bit. As we talked about at the beginning of our show, that you talked about you were in the corporate world, and sadly that you felt you had been the disease had came about and almost
Yeah.
took your life out, which thank goodness
I
it.
would say burnout is really what happened,
I
but in a way
understand.
that my body manifested in a very serious illness.
Yeah, that is shut
I
down.
was burning way too
Yeah.
hard, and I knew it. Like, you
Yeah.
know.
So before that happened, though, did the corporate world in any way prepare you in some sense for this, for your venture? And if so,
Yeah. Yeah, it did. So I loved what I did. I'd always been in some form of sales. I actually put myself through a lot of college, made all my extra money selling used cars in the summer. I could work for 2 months and fund my life for the year. Always was in sales, came out of school making six figures, right? Like right out of college and sales, really high driven and loved what I did. Um, I tended to work in very male dominated industries, right? In the mortgage industry and kind of that real estate mortgage, or just, well, not really real estate with real estate agents, but more on that corporate commercial side. And then in the automobile industry, and I loved it, but I just never felt at home with it. I
mm,
don't know how to explain it. I was good at it. I was always good at it. I've always loved being like I'm somebody who learned very early stay in my lane,
yes,
right? Like I outsource
yep,
what I don't do well. I stay in my lane, and that's what I do. I learned very early how to do that, and it did prepare me. I mean, I had a lot of wonderful opportunities to travel the world and to speak at to grow my network, to be able to do what I do now, to sit on many boards. It provided an opportunity for our family to have some financial comfort when I became very sick. Because the reality is I don't make anywhere near now what I made doing that. And nor do I have the desire to do that again.
yeah,
I know that sounds crazy to some people, but that's not my passion for getting up every day now. It's just I give so much away in philanthropy and in scholarships and in families who are hurting, or in children who they don't have access to the resources that we're providing. And it brings me joy to be able to be in a position to provide that for families in need and to change lives generationally. We're not just talking about healing parents, but I'm talking about generationally, many times saving children from a place that they felt there was nowhere to go on and they were suicidal. And they came to us to then I actually use passion projects and entrepreneurship as a way to help them heal,
yeah,
start their own journey, find their own confidence, and change the world on their terms. And so it's many times we're helping seed those businesses and fund them, or whatever we can do to get them to a place um, that they view themselves different than what their bullies and their abusers have told them who they are. We
right,
teach them how they're beautifully and uniquely created in God. And what is your talent, right? What is your talent? How were you created?
right,
What were you put on this earth to do? And so I always say I traded in my high heels and my flying around the corporate world for my Uggs
I
and my
remember
entrepreneurship.
that was the first thing
And
you said
I
to me.
have never found more joy.
Yeah,
Really, just never more joy. Who would have thought I would be a homeschooling mom? Like, that just makes me laugh. My old self probably looks at my new self laughing every day. Like, I cannot even believe you are a homeschooling mom. Like, that is some crazy talk. And on top of that, that you fly around and talk at homeschool conferences. Like, who are you?
so say for instance that we have some listeners and followers around, they're like, hey, I would love to be a homeschooling coach.
Mhm.
What would be something that you would, what is a piece of advice you would give them?
A homeschooling coach or a homeschool, just to make sure I heard you correctly. To
The
be a homeschool coach?
coach. Yep.
Yeah. So first, understand the homeschool world really well, right? So let's say you've been homeschooling, you've homeschooled your kids. Um, People love stories of connection. Your story sells. I think that's advice no matter where you are.
True.
Authentic, sharing your story, sharing your heart. And so many people need hope in today's world. Our
Mm-hmm.
family story gives them hope that I could take children from a place of broken to a place of now my son's a senior graduating, getting a kid who could not write one sentence when I brought him home. Bright child, but broken down in a system with so many learning differences he could hardly function, to now Presidential Academic Scholarships Award, his own business, his own speaking. He has 4 life coaching certifications. He's mentoring young teens. He's growing his business in mental health. He's all of these things bring hope. Share your story of hope of what you have done, because your tribe will find you.
Yeah.
I am not, if people are looking for a homeschool coach, if you are I've always wanted to homeschool, the Lord put it on my heart day one to homeschool, and I never thought of anything else, that's not my tribe. Like,
Mm,
those guys find their tribes of
yeah.
coaches. My tribe, My people are real. Like, we are a hot mess in here. We're like, listen, we're going to get the work done because we're working full time. Many of the families I work with are working full time. Their kids are in a place that curriculum doesn't always come easy for them.
Mm,
They're either struggling in many places. We put mental health before math. We teach them different ways. They need to feel led. People need leaders.
yes.
Lead them in the way that you found success and honor them where they are without judgment. That would be my advice for new homeschooling coaches. Part of our mentor program, what I do, our public school to homeschool families, I'll take people either considering their first year to like third year. I really stay in a niche. I give one-to-one coaching with solid plans, academic plans, troubleshooting 2 to 3 times for 1 hour. And then I mentor them once a month in big groups for an entire year so that they get live from us, because everybody has the same problems.
Right.
When are we going to do testing? How do we handle like all of these things? And so we come together as a community, create a community for them, create a place for your tribe to feel supported. We are in this so many times as women. We think we can do it all on our own, and we've been taught that. And it's not that we can't, but we are so better in community.
So
We're
true.
so better in community. Grab a place that once a month your community can get together and be with you and have that cup of coffee, and let them bring the tears on, because they may not have a place in their life that even their spouses support them,
Right.
or their in-laws, or they don't even believe in themselves, but they know they have to do this for their child. And so create space that is a safe place that you support and provide information. And then above all else, know your laws. I've seen so many homeschool coaches tell people the wrong information, or not even know about NCAA, or giving planning advice when you have a top ranked athlete. And I'm like, know your stuff, folks. Stay in your lane. Don't pretend to know something you don't know.
No,
That's
right.
my
So
other,
true. So
right?
true.
And
So
coaches need coaches. So make sure you have a coach.
that's why I keep telling everybody we all need. I just had a conversation. We all need coaches. And you know what? Let's go back to the tribe piece. I talked to so many women about the importance, and I'm glad you said it. The importance of having a tribe. It's important to have the support system and to understand that we all can't do it, but if we lock our arms together, we can do this together. But you can't do it by yourself.
And you may be led this year, you may be led to coach 10 people, not 100 people.
So true. So
Those
true.
10 people, it doesn't matter. Show up. If you have one client, show up and pour into them as if you would if you had 1,000. Because I will tell you, and I try to share these stories and not cry, but I'm probably going to. Sometimes the families who I don't think I'm really making an impression on are the ones that at the end of the day needed the most help. They just never asked, right? Pour into and love them, even when they're hard, even when their kids are hard. Like, you just never know who
Yeah.
that person is you're going to touch in their life, because you may say something that was such an eye opener for them. I've had people come back years and years that have heard me years ago speak and say, just that one piece that you said about putting mental health before math. I
Mm-hmm.
was so focused. I came out of the classroom as a teacher, so focused on needing to get it done, that I'd lost my child in that process. And so you never know what you say will impact, but you have a story to share, so share it. That's my advice.
Absolutely. And I also do believe in the mental health is such, well, I've worked in the mental health side, so I totally get right. I totally
It's
get
work,
that aspects of it, but I need everybody to not only we're talking about everybody being pay attention to mental health. You know,
right? And as you're talking about mental health, I think that's so important that we take a moment and pause on that, because mental health and mental illness, right? We talk a lot about that, but understanding that taking care of your mental health is just as important as the part of getting enough sleep and taking care of our physical health. How do we take care of our mental health? And so, just to pause on that real quick, in my classes, I teach 3 steps. I call it eat for your mental health. And I'm not talking about what we're putting in our body, even though we know we have to eat well and we have to
right.
sleep and all that. But when I teach eat for your mental health, the importance that every family and every person can do is number one, my E is engage. The importance of engaging human contact. We lost that so
Mhm.
much during COVID. What you
Yeah.
and I are doing right now, which is part of that community, right? Our
Yes.
second one for our A is to stay active. The importance of staying active because
Oh my
because of
goodness.
what it does to our system, whatever it is, keep it moving. And then our T is to think of, well, either to serve others, right? We're going to serve others or we're going to try new things. And when we do that, which is why when we're coaching and serving and all of these things, not only are we staying engaging and we're staying active a lot of time by keeping just creating events and things to do, and then trying new things and thinking of and serving others, the way that affects the brain can help you stay
Yes.
mentally healthy all the way around. So teaching your kids, looking at it in your business, how are you engaging? How are you staying active? How are you thinking of and serving others or trying new things constantly can help us to stay mentally healthy and create a way for our children. And I think that's what's been so hard during COVID is so much of that was taken away. All
True.
three of those support systems,
True. It was
all of that was
one.
ripped away. And so, how do we do it in a way that, which is why I use passion projects and entrepreneurship as a way to help our kids rebuild and stay because they're engaging with other people to start their
Right.
business. They're active. They're really doing it, and they're trying new things, and many times thinking of or serving others, and that helps rebuild that mental health aspect without it feeling like we're sitting in therapy.
Yeah. So
Many of these kids I work with, they're not.
yeah, they're
They
not
go to
going to.
therapy and they sit there like this, and the parents write the checks.
Right.
They don't
Right.
want. Yeah.
So absolutely. I love EAT.
EATS. Yeah, eat. So to eat for your mental health. Yeah, engage, stay active, and think of trying things, serve people. It's such a easy way to teach kids.
Absolutely.
It's so easy, right? It's like when I talk about bullying, um, and we haven't even gotten into that tonight, but so many people don't have a clue. What's the difference between conflict and bullying? So
Right.
we teach that is ARP. Is it aggressive? Is it repeated? Is there a power imbalance? We have those three things. We're dealing with bullying.
Brilliant.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we break it down and teach people in ways they can remember, then they have all these tools in their back pocket that they can use for life. We just have to
Absolutely.
find a way, as you know, as a coach, to connect to that audience, to serve it in a way they get it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the bullying. I mean, it's so, my goodness, we hear it so much. It's starting to hear a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
Actually, we were talking about it before we came on live. I talk to my grandson every day about, trying to engage with him and saying, "Hey, how was your day?" And, what was going on in class and how did you have a good day? Was that something, what was some of the words? And, I'm trying to use the power words versus the negative words. So he'll know the difference between the power words and the negative words. So I do it every day. I'm like, so what was your power word for the day? And was there a negative word that you heard? And if so, what was that negative word? And then and when he does say a negative word, then we're going to start building on that. But we need to start now because my goodness, we're even in the corporate world. We're still seeing the bullying going on in the corporate world.
Bullying's a huge deal in corporate world. So we can unpack this from so many ways
Oh
because
my goodness.
I think the thing that really struck me coming from the corporate world, I lived in a bullying world. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
And I think what was so frustrating as a woman many times, I was extremely assertive. I'm very alpha and power. There are a lot of words that are used to describe ladies like me, right? And B, I was not the bully, but
Right.
but I was assertive and boundary focused and get it done, task oriented, never from a bullying perspective, but from a leadership power perspective of inspiring others, encouraging. What does real leadership look like?
Right.
And we have lost so many people have lost the ability to lead people.
True.
We don't have leaders. Very, very few corporations have strong people
True
that they want to
leaders.
follow anymore.
Wow.
Right? How many of your employees are willing to make sacrifices with you? Or are they going to ditch in a year and go to the place with the next better payroll? Because, right? So are we creating places that you are inspiring and encouraging and empowering others? Are you leading from a place of power that they want to follow you? And so I just say that because I teach a lot of leadership development
Yeah.
classes, and bullying, when we think of bullying, I think the first word many of our generations think of are schoolyard bullying,
Yep.
right? That's where they go to. But bullying is a cultural issue. It is not a school issue. And when we unpack it, our bullies are in our families. We have sibling bullies. We have spouses that bully. We have in-laws and families that bully. It is in our political system. It is in our churches. It is in our, wherever we are serving, it is everywhere. And 80% of people say they have worked for a bully in the workplace.
Yep.
And that starts because so many of our kids are learning early on how to use that, the manipulation tools, how
Yes.
do you read social cues, how to use that power over others to get them to do what they want. They see very early how to pick out the weak and how to find a
Yep.
target, overpower them, roll over top of them, and move their way up, which is how they use it in school to move up a social ladder, which is why you have so many of your queen bee drama girls, right? Like our queen bee heads of everything that want to use their power over others to put them
Yes.
down, to stay in power. And we see it a lot with men in different positions. But
True.
my goal is, how can we take these kids and inspire them to lead, not use their power in a negative way, but to
Right.
use their leadership and their power in a way that helps others. So as I mentioned earlier, um, I struggle so much with just getting parents to get the basics down, because so many people think bullying is about conflict. And even on Clubhouse today, when I was doing a wonderful seminar on bullying, a woman who'd been a principal of a school for a long time said, I have never heard anybody tell me that bullying wasn't conflict.
Really?
Blew me out of my chair. I thought I was going to fall over and spit my coffee. But I'm like, bullying. And so for everybody out there, bullying is never about conflict. Bullying is about, as we mentioned earlier, ARP. Is it aggressive? Is it repeated? Is there a power imbalance?
Right. So true. Oh my.
When you have two people that want to resolve a problem, to have conflict resolution skills.
Right.
As a leader, if you're in the corporate world, in your family, or at the playground, do not use conflict resolution skills when you're dealing with a bully,
Right.
because that bully is going to come at you, manipulate you, right? They're going to deny that they were doing it. Many times we're dealing with these little narcissists. So they're going to deny Darbo approach. They're going to deny, they're going to reverse it. They're going to attack you and tell you that they're the victim. So
Right. Right.
with these
They're
kids,
gonna put it on you.
they're going to put it back on you. And so how do we deal with that? As you were saying, talk to kids earlier and younger. I love the game. We still play it in our house every day. Best thing, worst thing. Best thing that happened today,
Yep.
worst thing that happened today, right? Best thing, worst thing. And then through that, I can tend to find patterns and things that are going on if we need to unpack some things. And also for parents, when you're watching shows with your children, when you're seeing things play out, take that time to unpack it in a way they can understand it. If you're watching a Disney movie or something, wow, let's say, well, we've got our little guys here, but wow, does he remind you of anybody? I noticed, man, he's really aggressive. He's like a bully. Can you think of anybody in our lives who act like that? You would be shocked how
Mm-hmm.
many, right? And you'll find out information that can really help you put things together. And
Right.
when our children can role play out through movies, through, wow, that person was a bully, or that person, how could, and then start to play. My next favorite step, once they kind of get those basics, play be the director. How could that have changed?
Right.
What if somebody would have stood up for that person? And then let them think through other outcomes, and how could that have been different, so that we show them their power for standing up for those who are being persecuted, stand up for those who are being abused. What can that look like by one person having the power to change their voice? And so when they can do that, then as we keep growing in those leadership skills and their development skills, they have a baseline for seeing how things can change in their life, so that it's not so foreign. But starting with movies and conversations and people, and teaching them emotions and
Mm-hmm.
vocabulary, all those things you were talking about, it's incredibly important. And in today's world, guys, and I don't say this to scare you, because this is all information that shocked the bejesus out of me when I started realizing it. 90% of kids will never tell their parents they're dealing with a bullying issue. 70% never tell anyone.
Right.
They sit in shame and fear. We have a huge rate of children getting groomed by sex trafficking, who have dealt
Mm-hmm.
with bullying, because they're looking for a place to feel wanted. And
Yep.
it's very easy. You're so mature. When somebody's already in a hurt place of being isolated in that place, it makes an impact. And when
So
we have children as young as 10, that it's a second leading cause of death is suicide, we have got to create space to help them.
Absolutely. I so agree with you. And I'm glad we're talking about this because, as we're still talking about, the what's next for women, well, we need to talk about the bullying because it's just time. We have to talk about it. And what a perfect place to talk about it is here. And we're amongst our friends and family and our tribe.
Safe
And no
place.
one's, yeah, safe place. And we're here to, educate each other on the bullying. It is so, I just heard, actually, it was on, well, they changed it, but it was on Good Morning America with Gail and them. They were talking about how bullying has just dominated the elementary school.
Yeah.
Now, back in our day, we didn't even hear about bullying until high school. Now it's in elementary school, and we need to talk about it more.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you don't talk about it, then guess what? We have someone who can. We can.
Right. Well, right. And so our group, I love the work that I do, but the reality is I can't help everybody one to
True.
one. And so I've gone out and actually I'm so proud of the class we just created. It's our leadership development skills class to help parents because not only do I do short videos like 8 to 10 minutes because kids love videos now. They don't read
Right.
my books. I mean,
Yeah.
parents might pick up my books more. Kids are like, is that on audio? Let's just be real. Like, where's our videos?
Right.
So we teach it quickly. We do hands-on activities all through healing, teaching so much about learning from music therapy, place, all of these things. And then in every single video, I actually teach leadership and it's a parent and leader video at the end of every segment. So if I'm teaching on why people bully or
Right.
conflict resolution skills, I actually break it down in an advanced or higher level for parents because I have a lot of parents who sit down and do it once a week where they're actually watching it during dinner and then they have a conversation so that because so many parents, they don't even have the skills. They have no idea how to handle it in their workplace or how to handle it
True.
with a sister. Like they're lost. And so the whole family can learn together
Yeah.
in how do we change this? So generationally, you can cut that root and not have to have it continue to go down without having skills. And I'll tell you guys, your children, you never know where they're going to be in a situation that they can make such an impact in somebody's life.
Absolutely. So everybody, real quick, we'll stop here in a minute. Time is going by fast. I mean, we had a blast when we first met. We're like, man, this is going. We had a
I could
blast.
talk forever.
I can too, but it's because it's our passion and our purpose, and we're out here empowering people. So, real quick, Candice, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you, and how can they find you, or where can they find you?
Yeah. So the easiest place is at my website, Bullied, Broken, Redeemed. Can you guys see that's our books. We have all our books on Amazon. I do parent workbooks, kids workbooks. We have about 6, but if you just go to bulliedbrokenredeemed.com, our leadership classes are up there. I actually run a free Facebook group for parents who need support. I keep that community pretty small because many of these families have just dealt with the death of a loved one due to bully side, or they're in deep crisis, right? So that's my support group to help families who are really in a difficult place. But I'm about everywhere. I'm on Clubhouse every couple. I mean,
Yes.
I'm out there. I try to provide as much as I can in free resources to help people and then support them behind, because our classes we offer, we're trying to offer them for under $50 for 16 full weeks with certification programs and everything. Because at the end of the day, if we don't start making an impact in these kids young and in families, this issue is only growing. And I am really concerned about what this year is going to look like.
Right. I already remember. I already talked about. I am like holding my breath and like just I pray every day. I try to stay connected. I do stay connected to my grandson and just trying to make sure that he knows that I'm here and that there's other outlets. But I so agree with you. Well, real quick, just sit back for a few minutes and then I'm gonna ask you some other questions. But real quick, everybody, I want everybody to know that this today's show is actually sponsored by over here, Vision Made Magazine, right? Vision Made Magazine. Vision Made Magazine is a quarterly empowering, inspiring magazine for women, helping women to get themselves to the what's next by conquering the what ifs and I can'ts. Well, how do we do it? The magazine does it through vision board. Who doesn't like a vision board? I do. I do it through, and Vision Board is done in such a different aspect. We use SWOT, and we take those and break it down, and we do our vision boards in a so totally different manner. But if you are interested in getting a copy of Vision Made magazine, drop it in the feed below. If you're interested in just connecting with myself or my amazing co-host Candice, drop it in the feed. I definitely will pass your information along to you. As you all know, I don't know it. I have thousands of women such as Candice that can help you get you to your what's next. And so please do not, as we always say, what goes on here stays here in our podcast and in our tribe. So we're all about growing each other, and don't run away from your purpose and your passion because you don't know or don't have that support. You do. It's here, and we're here to help you and empower you to get you there. So, Miss Candice, real quick, what is your what's next for next year? What do you see your what's next for next year?
Okay, so this kind of overwhelms me a little bit, y'all, because we got a lot going on. I am rolling out for the rest of this quarter and next year. I have 4 more classes coming out from adult leadership certification classes. 4th grade is the new middle school. We have 2 new books coming out. My youngest son on the spectrum, I think I told you, you met him. He writes his little books about service dogs, has books coming out, and we are in the beginning stages of starting the foundation to help teens dealing with mental health from bullying, the effects of it, and hoping to be able to, by next summer, run camps, workshops, and support families in a way that we can bring them in, help the children, and then provide the parents with the real support they need to support their teens and tweens.
Love it. Oh, I love that mission. I love it. I love it. So as you are going through your day, your full day of being intentional and all the work, is there a quote or something that motivates you when you're hitting that wall of, man?
Well, I am a lady of faith, so I do keep right on my desk, I can do all things through God who strengthens me. Yeah. Because I really try, as we talked about my full days, I try to be very intentional now with not creating things that I want to do, but the things that are really within my purpose and within what I feel I'm being called to do in this lifetime, right? And that's not always easy because my flesh wants to go do a whole lot of things, but I'm trying to really stay intentional with that. I would say that's probably the biggest for me, for our family. Our motto is bully people, hurt people, but healed people help others heal. And so we really try to bring that mission forefront in everything that we do, is to help others heal so they can then take that forward in the next piece.
Wow. That's with your days being so full and being intentional of all that you're to do and doing. How do you have time to read? And if so, we always stop here and we talk about book on the shelf. And if so, what is the book on the shelf you're reading?
Well, I have one. Don't be shocked. It's a bullying book, but I mean, I'm always doing professional development, and Absolutely. I actually read. So there are a couple that I've read that have changed my philosophy of education, from John Taylor Gatto's "Dumbing Us Down" from the education system, and I read this one last year, "Free Us from Bullying," which really talks about just overall how we've gotten here as a culture. And so I'm rereading Paul Coughlin's book because I'm looking to partner with him on some things. So that's actually literally right on my desk and on my shelf because I'm in the middle of going back through. And I think it's important because sometimes we read things at a season in our life.
Yes.
And we took what we needed out of it at that time.
Right.
But we go back and read it again, and you can find so much more richness. Our family in general, we actually do a business book a month as a family. We are always doing it big. So we just finished launch, and I wasn't sure what to do. I really prayed about this. I was like, So we're doing the art of the deal, like just understand negotiation skills. Yeah. I wasn't sure about this because I have a little son.
Right. I was going to say,
he does not need this. He is like running around with Bill O'Reilly. He sells books everywhere. He's like on page 24 of my book. Like, he does not need to close deals anymore. But it's his power skill. And so he is my negotiator and top power person. And I just thought, as much as we read on negotiation, I think we need so many different perspectives on it. So I was like, let's try some different perspectives so then we can start taking all of these other books you've read
Right.
about negotiation, about walking away from deals, about how to close deals. Let's compare and contrast them for the fourth quarter. And so then that's what we're going to be doing, is going back through
Nice.
several we've done and taking different people's approaches, and then
Yes.
learning within personalities. How do you know how to assess up which, really, in our discs or profiles or Myers-Briggs? My kids study a lot of that in our homeschool for understanding how do you best connect to somebody and their personality, and
Mhm.
then which of these techniques that you have learned are the best ways to do that, because I think it'll help them long term.
I
So
agree.
those are my books on the shelf at the moment.
I love it. No, I can't believe, I would love to hear your youngest son.
Oh, Lordy, have him on.
Mommy,
He'd
I
love
talked
to
to
come
him
talk to you.
we talked
His goal this year is a TED Talk.
Remember that I talked, remember that's how, remember when I
Yes,
first met you, that's
I know. I ran in the room like, oh, no, no, no. This kid.
oh my
Today he
goodness.
was at horse therapy. He's learning to be to work with path with therapeutic horses, and he was out at his apprenticeship today, and he came back and he's just so excited. He's like, we need to figure out how we can help fund them. I'm like, buddy, you're funding everybody all over the world. Like, what are you doing? He's like, they need help with funding their extra horses. How can we set up and use part of our his holistic pet products, that
Yes.
he can take a portion of all these things he sells and give to help fund their mission and helping people deal with trauma and using their horses.
Oh,
So his brain never stops.
oh my goodness, you guys. Amazing. I got to talk to him for a little bit of time when he was telling me about the TED Talk. And I'm like, oh my goodness, amazing young men, both of them.
Oh.
But I talked to him more. I didn't get to talk to you.
Yeah, I don't know that he needs any
I don't.
he and y'all, I went to school for industrial psychology. Like, I love negotiating. He wears me down every time. I don't even know. He does not need more skills in this, but I'll let him go wear somebody else down. So if anybody would like to negotiate, have a negotiating partner with a 13-year-old on the
I
spectrum, me,
promise you,
looking for a mentor.
he is the best. I got to talk to him for 5 minutes. I was like, wow.
Y'all, he comes in, he's got his vision board, he's got his
Yes.
book next to me, he has a business coach. He is laser focused. Like, you think his mother's laser focused?
He is, no, I promise you, for the little young man that he is, he was like on, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
What an amazing young man. He's amazing. Don't say it like that. He's an amazing.
I know. He is. Well, his big thing is really different is not less than.
Yeah.
Just because I have autism, I'm not less
Yeah,
than.
I remember
With
that.
his superpowers. But as a mama, like, let's just be real. Some days these power kids, they're hard to raise. I mean, he
Yeah.
does not need much sleep. He can run 24/7 and get up and have a book idea before I get out of bed in the morning. And I'm like, I already have a full day, kid.
I can see that. I can see that. Well, we talk about power words. What's your power word for this year? As we just talked about it a little bit. What's yours for this year?
Intentional.
Ooh.
I really went with intentional. I needed to start making sure I'd really kind of gotten off a path that I was saying yes to so many things. I
So
needed to remember to be intentional, and that everything I said yes to, there was a no somewhere else.
mhm.
And so that's why I'm really trying to be intentional with I'm not busy. I want to create these places that I'm intentional with all that I do. I still have a very serious health issue. I have to manage. I'm still on bed rest 4 days a week, days a month, 4 days a month with all that I do. And if I am not intentional with taking care of myself, with taking care of my health, with managing what I do, it's very easy for me to be back and bedridden again. And so being intentional in my relationship with my husband, and how I'm raising my children, and what I say yes to, and where I spend my time, all of those things are incredibly important to me.
I love it. Mine is epic, but I'm not doing epic in a powerful move. I'm doing epic because so many times I shrunk myself to everybody else and to the society that I lost myself. But in order for me to be where I want to get to, I have to be epic, and I have to be, again, intentional, but to be epic and to be living in my truth and knowing that my truth is okay and not worry about everybody else's. So
I
that is
love
my
it.
word.
I love it. We'll have to put it right below Vision Made Epic.
Made right.
We have got this is such a mess. I'll show you. They've got vision boards around here. I make them do them 2 times a year. Well, my family doesn't think that's great, but I don't really care. Like, they have to do them at the beginning of the year, and then we reassess them over the summertime.
Right.
And because I think it's something that it's not a once a year thing, right? So
Right.
And then they have to quarterly goals, monthly goals. I mean, I kind of run my homeschool like a business.
And you
We have
have to.
business meetings. We do. We have team meetings in the morning. Everybody has everybody's goals in mind. Even as they're out networking, they are always looking for opportunities to network and share within their other community of people they lead. So,
Oh, awesome.
mm.
Awesome. Well, as we're getting ready to wrap this up, I just have two more questions. So the first question is, what do you do for some self-care for yourself?
So I'm actually one of these ladies who does not like the word self-care. I prefer to think about what do I need to do to care for myself?
Okay.
Because self-care to me was like bubble baths and pedicures and like that is not me. What do I need to do to care for myself? And I'm going to be honest with you guys, this has transitioned over the years, but sometimes to me, caring for myself is to do the dishes so I can sit in a clean room, so
Mm,
I can be in peace. Like, honestly, I have had to break down how does it look to care for myself? Is what I'm doing, how does that feel in my body? And sometimes walking in my kitchen, I mean, we homeschool, we got boys everywhere. Like, sometimes it's doing that so I can take that deep inhale breath and sit in my kitchen and write,
love
right?
it.
Right. Sometimes that's what that is to me. I am a big into just being able to put on a podcast and go for a walk in nature and sit quietly. I don't need all the pedicures and massage. I went through stages I did,
Yes.
but now taking care of myself is so much more in to just how am I feeling in that moment. Do I need to create more space for downtime, right? Do I need to create space for me to process a lot of the trauma that I process for other people? That's been a big one for me. Is in
Oh,
the beginning, I did not honor that. So
mm-hmm.
caring for myself sometimes is creating enough downtime that I can process because I have a tendency to be a big empathy. Like I really have the
Right.
gift of these things. I need time to process that so I can come back stronger. And I'm actually not somebody who needs the bubble baths and all things. I am more filled going in Clubhouse for an hour and talking to people and energizing.
Yes.
That sometimes is caring for myself because I'm talking to other grown-up human beings who aren't my kids trying to
Right.
get stuff from me, right? Like I just need a place to many times process out what's going on in my life. And so finding community, finding places is how I care for myself.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Miss Candice, you have been an amazing co-host. Thank you
Well,
for
thank you.
joining me. Thank you. This was fun. I told you we said we are gonna have fun anyways. This was so
I
cool.
know it's been so fun, and just I can't wait to get in and meet some of the folks in your group and kind of look around. You just the place that you're creating here that women can just feel inspired for that next step, right? Because it is scary.
Yes, it
It's
is.
scary. Um, but kudos to you
Thank
because
you.
they just we need so many more people willing to take on and change the world, and
Thank
you are
you.
doing that.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. So, where can people find you if they want to connect in case they just joined us?
Yeah, so bulliedbrokenredeemed.com. That's my
The book
company, right?
club.
So you guys
Yep.
can see that on there. All our books, our workshops, that's the easiest place to find me. And then I think I'm on every platform. Hook up with me over at LinkedIn. Come find me on Clubhouse. I'm over on Instagram. I'm just Candice Duggar. Come find me. Come find me. Come find me. I love to talk to people, and I'm a big person for just inspiring and helping other women. How can I
Absolutely.
network and help you and connect you to people, right? Because that's really what we need to do.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, any last words of advice or piece of advice for our followers?
Hmm. I'm gonna go with Brene Brown's "Feel the fear and do it anyway."
Ooh, I love it. That's
Right?
powerful.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. Remember that nervousness and excitement feel the same in the body. Feel it.
Feel it. I love it. Feel it. So everybody,
Do it
yeah, she
anyway.
said, feel it is amazing. I want you all to know. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. What was your win for this week?
Okay. It's not a. I'm gonna count it as a win, but guys, sometimes knowing when to say no to something can be a win. I'm actually supposed to be at AACC next week, which is the American Association of Christian Counselors.
Yes.
I said no, and I've been on the list for 2 years. COVID's pretty rough there with my autoimmune, with all of these things. I have made the intentional choice to pull back because my schedule behind that is training at leadership events and other things. So my win And even though it might not sound like a win to a lot of people, was having the courage
To say
to
no.
tell my team and to tell people no, and big people that I'm supposed to meet there for contracts to say no, because one, my body's a little worn down right now. Florida's tough. You
Yes,
get sick
it
down
is.
there and being far away from home. And I have lots of things behind it. And so it was hard for me, but my win was having the courage to say no. So I just knew it was the right thing to do, but it took a lot of courage to turn down such a big public thing where I have a lot of business meetings set up, but I'm not being paid as a speaker there. It was on the vendor side.
Yep.
So I could say no, right? But it took a
Yes.
lot of courage. And so my win for me was to put myself first.
Congratulations.
That
That's
was hard
awesome.
though. It
But
was hard.
it's hard for all of us. It's hard for especially those of us that are that are all about serving the community.
And as entrepreneurs, that's how we make our money. I'm going
That's
to
right.
make money by showing up and selling books and selling products and getting gigs. That's how I make money.
Right.
But it wasn't right for my health at this time. So.
I commend you, and you are my Shira. So thank you, thank you. Well, everybody, I hope you guys got a lot of nuggets. I was over here writing. I have green all over my piece of paper, or my piece of paper, as Candice is dropping the nuggets. But I want you all to know before we get off of here, if no one has not told you that you rock, you're amazing, and know that we appreciate you. And thank you for stopping by and taking time to listen to us as we had an amazing time, as I always do. Know that this is your life. I'm being very serious. Know that this is your life and live your life to the best that you can live it. And that this is no one else's, and take control of your life. So may it be that you have to kick out the what ifs and I can'ts, and we can do that here at the tribe so you can go after your what's next. Just know that live your life to your fullest and to the best, and that you only get one life, so take care of it. As we do, and as we always end in, be safe, take care of yourself. Until next week, I have another amazing co-host. Take care of yourself, everyone, and thank you for joining. And thanks, Candice, for being here.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.